would you assess your season when you look back on it?
Individually, I thought I did have a good year. Thought I stuck true to myself and played fairly consistent for the most part. There's some lulls, some ups and downs, but all in all, a good season to be proud of personally. But as a team, disappointed. Obviously, I wanted to see us do a lot more, push a lot more, and obviously finishing where we finished is not what I had anticipated or hoped for this season, but there's a lot to still take away from it and not just look at it as a complete loss.
I'm sure you came into the season kind of just wondering about your future and, you know, where your game's going, and to have the season you did, and, you know, like having people talk about you in ALLCITY and have a new contract is, I mean, what over the last year, can you put that in perspective? Maybe just, you know, how it's all evolved?
Yeah, I'll be totally honest. I hadn't thought about my future at all. I hadn't worried about it. I am not one to get wrapped up in that and overthink things. I was just coming in and playing. That was it. So I didn't ever worry about it. But when the discussions started to begin, I was thrilled, excited. I loved that they appreciated what I was doing, and that they wanted to see me stick around. That was the biggest thing, is that I want to play for people that want me to be there, and I love that they're backing me and they're in my corner. So it was a pretty easy decision to, you know, stick around for a couple more years and try to help right this and get this thing going in the right direction. And to your point about being talked about in Selke, it's flattering. It's fantastic. But individual success is very minimal to me when it gets down to the grand scheme of things. I want to win hockey games, and that's what is on my mind first and foremost.
How did you see the leadership group evolve this year in the first season without Jonathan Taves as the captain?
Mm-hmm. It's different, and I'm sure a lot of guys that have been here for a while maybe had to adjust to it. I don't want to speak for them, but it's shocking. A guy that's been here for his entire career, he's basically been the voice in the room every single year that he was here, and every single year that the young guys that were here ever had to look to somebody, had to lean on somebody, it was Taser. So there's definitely a change, probably a big change in leadership style, approach, that those guys had to adjust to, and then other guys having to step up into leadership roles and take on more of a responsibility. It definitely was good to see, and I loved the growth that I saw in that aspect from a lot of guys, and what is being built in terms of culture from the leadership group is what I like to see personally.
Some of those guys talked earlier about guys not accepting their roles, though, and you know, it seems like they talk the talk when the cameras are rolling, saying the right things, but are they walking the walk? Is everybody walking the walk?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's it's pretty easy to see and say. We have video evidence of it all. You know, we can go back and we can watch it the next day. We can watch it the day after that. I've got all of my clips sent to me after every single game, so there's no hiding when it comes to saying certain things and doing others, because we get to watch it, we get to analyze it, we get to pick it apart. So accepting roles, playing to them, it's hard when you have certain expectations for yourself. So I do understand that guys expect certain things of themselves. It's not so much that they expect the team or management or coaching staff to give it to them, but you know what you're capable of, you know what you can do, you want to help the team win. So maybe you have a different understanding of what the team expects from you from what you expect from yourself.
Well, what have you thought of Luke Richardson, his growth from last year to this year as a coach, and when he picks the spots to, you know, rip you guys a you know what versus laying off and letting the leadership guys do the talking?
Yeah, Nick has done a good job of talking through the group and making sure that the young guys understand that what we're doing some nights wasn't acceptable. So he took his role really seriously, and he wanted to be that voice. He wanted to help correct things because he knew what he was seeing wasn't right, and he's been around for a while, so he's seen a whole lot of things, and he wants to help guys get there. And I think he's really passionate, and he's taken that job on in spades, and he's maybe wearing it a bit too much on his sleeves at times, because it definitely takes a toll on him having to be that guy and having to do all that. So maybe some of us could take it off his plate every now and then, but he does such a good job at it that it's hard to step in sometimes and just kind of let him do it. And Luke has he's had to lay the hammer on us a couple times. There's obviously been some unacceptable nights, far too many, and we've had a couple of tough practices that he's pushed us through that I love seeing. I love that stuff. I think creating that fire is something that I would love to see more of at times, and have guys really battle from the start of the season, from camp, like day one. Let's get that all going right away to create competition amongst us, so that when we get into a game, I know that this guy is ready to go because he and I laid it on the line in practice together.
The losing is obviously kind of, I guess, throughout your 2 years here, the team's kind of been in a rebuild, but did the losing kind of start to get to you at the end of this season? I know we talked in St. Louis and you were pretty upset, and did it just kind of build up to a point where it was maybe more frustrating than it had been?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't do a great job of managing my emotions a lot of days, and I own that. It is what it is at this point. Can't go back and change it, but it comes from a place of caring. I care about getting this going and winning hockey games, and I just hate to lose so much. It kills me, and there's a lot of things that I look back on, and I question myself and decisions, like why did this happen? So I get over analytical at times, and it works me up maybe. So I got to do a better job of managing that. But at the same time, we're here to win. It's not show up, collect your paycheck, go home. Like, I want to win. I don't know what everybody else is thinking, and I hope that they're thinking the same thing as me. But that's a culture that has to be set, a standard that has to be set, that we're winning hockey games, and anything less is unacceptable. And some nights you can be proud of the product and lose, but if you're not happy with what's going on out there and you're losing, then something's got to change.
Even through a tough season that you guys have had, there are great moments. Do you have a favorite moment from this year?
Favorite moment? There are a lot of really good moments. We had so many young guys come in, and seeing first goals, seeing first games, the joy on their faces, the excitement of their family, the emotion that brings to the locker room, to the game is kind of unmatched, because you only get one first game, you only get one first NHL goal, and that can't be replicated anywhere else. So yeah, for this year, I think that'd be what I appreciated.
Just thinking back at your career, first round draft pick to Dallas, then the stop in Vancouver. If somebody calls you a late bloomer, are we unfair? And what really changed for you here in Chicago besides the opportunity? Was there something that flipped the switch?
Yeah, late bloomer, it sounds like your abilities started to develop later when I hear that term, and I don't think that my abilities changed. I think my mindset changed. I think my mental strength changed. I think that's the biggest thing. When you get drafted, you get when you start playing at a young age, everybody starts hyping you up. You know, most of the guys in the league were likely the best on their team in minor hockey. They go to junior, likely the best on their team in junior, or one of the best. So there's a lot that goes into your mental state and what you're thinking. First round pick, like you said, it's very easy to get wrapped up in that and start thinking, I'm going to be this big shot, I'm going to start scoring all the goals, I'm going to put up all the points. That's not necessarily the case. And obviously for me, that's not the case. I set a career year with 35 points this year, and that's a fantastic year for me. I'm super proud of that number. A lot of other guys are going to sit there and be, that's not that great. Guys are putting up 100 assists, you know? So it's all relative, and it depends what you value. And once you're in the league, nobody cares where you were drafted. Nobody cares what number you were. You're in the league, you're in the league. Find what makes you great and commit to it. And that's the thing that I would say when people talk about late bloomers is it took me a while to figure out what was going to make me me and what was going to give me the best chance at an NHL career. And I don't know if I would have found a path to the NHL had I learned that earlier, but the timing was right for me when I did find out, and it worked out for me. So I'm a big believer in there's timing and opportunity, and they have to meet.
What do you think of Bedard?
Last question.
Sorry.
I was going to ask what your summer plans are.
Summer plans, I'm going to head back to Georgetown and get some TLC, see my family, just unwind. And last question, Connor this year, he was incredible. You know, he's a world-class player. He's got all kinds of skill. He sees the ice incredibly well, and, you know, his future's bright. It's hard to believe he's only 18. I got to remind myself that every day, honestly, when I see him, that he is still a kid, and there's a lot of growth for him, and that his ceiling is quite high, and that there's going to be some very memorable days here in Chicago, all because of that kid.
We all silly like the mayor.